Hello, hello, hello. I'm just doing a. Excuse me, I'm going to. Hay fever. Follow up on Doctor Who. Again, I'm not one of these people that goes on about ratings too much because we live in a strange time when it comes to TV ratings. All ratings are down, all ratings will continue to go down, but whether or not they'll necessarily be replaced by streaming is another matter. But the overnight ratings for episode 3, Boom, written by Stephen Moffat, has only pulled in 2.04 million views. As you can see, the overnight figures have gone down. They'll probably blame it on the weather because that's what they normally do. We've not had the consolidated iPlayer figures. Now, when they did this at Christmas, there was much to talk about whether or not those figures that they ended up using were the actual figures for the episode, or whether it was the whole playback of iPlayer Doctor Who viewing, for all the episodes and even the classic series. Again, there's a little bit of chicanery going on when it comes to the views. Some say that the Christmas episode only had some 150,000 views on iPlayer over that period. I don't know. It's a dark art. The thing is, these figures are the figures we've got now. It's not going to improve. We're probably going to see it dip below 2 million next week if the trend continues. And again, whilst many commentators on YouTube who do good Doctor Who videos are very much naysayers, they very much poo-poo everything. That's not what I'm here for. I'm trying to give a critical response to the show. Because I treat Doctor Who like it's my team. I treat it like it's a football team. I'll come here every week on the stands, cheering my team on, even though I might not necessarily agree with the manager, or they might got rid of my favourite striker. This is how a true fan of Doctor Who should view the show. It's like a football team, and we come here and we'll have our favourite season, our favourite manager, showrunner, our favourite striker, Doctor, but we should all come together, and not necessarily poo-poo it. But it's not looking good, is it? And the weird thing is the whole Stephen Moffat episode, Boom. Everyone online, on the X and the various reviews, talk it to high heaven. They really talk it up and say it's like one of the best episodes in the last insert how many seasons, years they've seen. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. And I feel like there's some real cognitive dissonance going on here. And then I showed it to my kids, because again, my kids, I don't know if do you remember them? Do you remember those little folk that used to do the reviews with me? Well, I can't get them to do the reviews anymore. They're refusing to appear. But last night was one, we watched it. I never told them what happened. I was very... we watched it, and at the end, it was a reasonable hour for us to do. It was, it very much tallied with the it going out. So we would have done a live stream on Saturday night, Saturday evening. And at the end, I said, "So we'll do a review then. We can talk about all three of them, and you can talk about all three episodes, and we can kind of." And wasn't very keen on it. She didn't like the episode at all. She said nothing happens. Nothing happens in it. And made a number of comments to it. Why is there a kid on the battlefield? The mine would have gone off anyway. This doesn't. If it's going to go off, it's going to go off. This doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. She was moaning, and I asked Herb, what he thought of it, and he said it's woof. Pretty strong response from my son. Now my son, he's neurodivergent. He doesn't mince his words. He said he hated it. He said it's worse than Quantumania. Now again, in our house, our lowest bar is Ant-Man Quantumania, because we sat and watched it as a family, and at the end we just went, what did we just watch? Because we watch all the Marvel things, He quite liked the Marvels though, because of the cats. He quite enjoyed the cats in the. He enjoyed the Marvels. Um, Again, we were trying to teach him that you are allowed to like different things. You know, it's very important. He doesn't always get it. He thinks that he should agree. So we're trying to get him to develop a sense of taste and that you can, you know, agree or disagree on things. But yeah, he said he hated it and he didn't want to do a review. So it's like, blimey. So yeah, that's why the kids haven't appeared. So it's you know, it's difficult. It's difficult. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame. I mean, I was hoping. I wasn't anti Davis taking over because you don't go back. You know, it's like a dog, you know, returning to sniff its own vomit. You know, you never go back. You always move forward. And I was more concerned, you know, about, you know, things kind of going back to the ways they were. And in a way they have, but we've got even more signalling, and that's fine. Again, sci-fi's always been progressive. I don't have an issue with that, but sometimes it's just a little bit too obvious. Donk, you know. I think things have to progress, but I don't think anybody wants this. This is the thing, and I don't necessarily, even if they miraculously brought back Tom Baker and, you know, revived a load of old scripts from the 70s, I think we're in this period now of post-culturalism. Please go and watch the video I made about post-culturalism. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing this period of post-culturalism where we've all become disconnected from popular culture. You know, we all experience culture at different times. While this is incredibly liberating, we lack this cultural cohesion. There isn't a shared experience anymore. That's why there are no memes. That's why there are no catchphrases. That's why the jokes, you know, don't get shared anymore, because everyone is just we're totally fragmented. And again, a lot of these people that you see on YouTube who do like the Doctor Who reviews and whatnot, they feed off that. You know, a lot of where they're coming from is from a more, I'd say, right wing perspective, and they feed on this. This, you know, it gets them the views. Remember, you know, enragement is engagement, and that's why they get the views and I don't, because I try and be reasonable. I try and be a reason. Am I not a reasonable man? Am I not a reasonable man? But yeah, I just think it's a real, I don't know, it's a bit of a sad day for Doctor Who when it's got its worst overnight viewing figures ever. And they are really dragging their heels over the iPlayer consolidated figures as well. I mean, you'd think with everything being, you know, on demand, they'd have the figures for the week, the 7-day iPlayer figures, whatever it's called. They'd have them out pretty quick, smart, you know. But it doesn't matter. Again, Russell T Davies and his production team, they do not care about viewing figures because the money is in the bag for the 2 seasons. You know, Disney money's there. And you get the feeling that he's doing it and that's it. And I wouldn't be surprised if it is just the 2 seasons and then he's off, you know, and then he's off to do something else. And who knows, maybe Moffat will come back. Again, there is some sort of murmurings that, you know, Moffat's done the Christmas special. And then he said that he hasn't written anything else, but he has actually he's read the Christmas special for season 15. And you think, oh no, he hasn't written the end scene, the regeneration scene again, like we did with Matt Smith. You just wonder if there's some weird thing going on here, you know, that we're all being, I don't know, there's some, it just feels odd. Everything feels odd, but it's, again, it doesn't. You don't have that momentum that you had with the original run, even with Tennant coming in and Matt Smith coming in. You know, that kind of momentum that you had is gone, and that is because of post-culturalism, because the kids aren't interested in this. And this is why I think, again, Chibnall was smart by trying to renose it into more, you know, older sci-fi audience, not necessarily it being a kids program. I think this is where it needs to, it needs to kind of, I'm not saying necessarily go dark, but it would be interesting if they did actually think, well, let's make this for regular folk, make it more for the regular people and distance it from its kids show origins. But yeah, that's it. It's a bit of a sad day for Doctor Who. We can run down Russell T Davies as much as you like, but it's all in the bag. It's not going to change anything. And again, I used to think he was going to be a great visionary for television, and yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure now, because it used to be about telling a good story, and that's not where we're at anymore. And that's just, again, it's all part of post-culturalism, because it allows ideologues to, take over, because there are these little pools of influence rather than what we used to have. But anyway, I've whittled on. The story is a few figures on the dip. Leave a comment, I suppose. Do the subscription. Do the thumbs up. Do whatever. But the big takeout is, my son said he hated Boom, and both my kids were so disenamoured by that story that they didn't want to make a video about it. That's bad. That's bad. And that was a comment. They like Space Babies. They really like Space Babies. They enjoyed that one. They thought Space Babies were in the right area. They enjoyed it because they're kids. That's the thing. But anyway, thanks for watching. A little video about Doctor Who, because why not? Why not? Ta-ta.